My first job when I emigrated to America in 1993 was as a waitress at a Mexican restaurant called Rio Grande in Arlington, Virginia. I'd emigrated to America with the dream to become a documentary filmmaker, but I hadn't got any money, so I had to take whatever job I could get. So as a waitress, I wore black shorts, white shirt, and a pink bow tie. So I looked very American, but I sounded very different. I said things like fajitas, tortillas, and jalapenos, because I'd never had Mexican food. I grew up in Ireland where there were no Mexican restaurants. I didn't know this food. And so all the waiters and waitresses thought that was hilarious, and they never told me any different. And there was a bewildering thing that would happen every evening. We would all gather in the kitchen, and the manager would pump his fist in the air and would say very emphatically, "What are we going to do tonight?" And all the waiters and waitresses would say, "Sell $500. And then the manager would say, "Ciara, what are you going to do tonight?" And I would say, "Sell a dessert." Because I'd never sold a dessert in the 2 months that I was there as a waitress. I explained to the manager, I really felt that the customers I was serving, with their big pile of nachos or fajitas, I really felt that they had had enough food to eat, that they didn't need a dessert. In fact, I'd find myself kind of staggering through the restaurant with this big plate or tray and piles of food on top, and the customers would duck as I walked by. And then to add insult to injury, these little specks of hot fat would flick off the fajitas and hit me in the cheek and on the ear, burning me, and would make me stagger even more. Needless to say, I was fired from that job, my first job as an immigrant in America. But seeing these vast piles of food that Americans were eating and staggering on the plate under the trays as a waitress, you can imagine my surprise when I learned that in my new country, in the United States of America, so many people go hungry every day. I came to America with a dream to become a documentary filmmaker because in my country, Ireland, there were very few jobs, especially for people coming out of college. There was 25% unemployment. And so when I got a green card in the mail, I was like, this is my opportunity. America is the country where anything is possible. Everything in America is shinier, bigger, including the plates of food. So it was just crazy to me that in this country that welcomed me in this country that had allowed my dream come true to become a documentary filmmaker, that millions of people would go hungry every day. In fact, 34 million people go hungry every day in America. Think about that for a moment. 34 million people across our country right now don't know where their next meal is coming from. And this is not like, I can't pay my electricity bill, or I'm paying it late, or I can't put gas in the car. This is not knowing on a daily basis where your next meal is coming from. What kind of quality of life do you think people who are struggling with these challenges would have? And let's think about that number, 34 million. 3 million people live here in Las Vegas today. So that's like 11 entire cities of Las Vegas don't have enough food to eat. 5 million people live in Ireland. That's like 7 entire countries of Ireland don't have enough food to eat in America. And 9 million people, 9 million of these people are children. So what do you think it will be like growing up in a country where you don't have enough food to eat? What would you think about that country? How is it that the greatest nation on earth cannot feed its people? How is it possible that we're putting rovers on Mars? And in a few decades, we're going to have people on Mars and they're going to be eating healthy food from the hydroponics. And yet, here in America, we can't feed everybody today. So there are 60,000 food banks in our country that feed people every day. That's 60,000. 60,000 food banks that need to bring food in on a daily basis and distribute it out to people. Think of all the logistics of that. And think about the fact that it's not solving the root cause of the problem, right? You have to feed people 3 times a day. So what if we were to think about food distribution differently? What if we could do something entirely different where people would grow their own food? Well, let me share my story with you. So in May 2013, my partner, Kim McQuarrie, who's actually from Las Vegas, and we helped this school here in Las Vegas create this film. The principal said, hey, I really want to build a school garden, but I need to raise the money. So we made the film for her. We were documentary filmmakers, and we'd made a lot of films for PBS, National Geographic, Discovery Channel. And so now, here we were doing something good for our community, and it felt good. But then other principals started coming to us and saying, hey, we want school gardens too. So little by little, we started helping the principals and the teachers build the school gardens and build out the program for the school gardens. And we created a nonprofit called Green Our Planet. And today, we have a staff of 45, and we have built 197 outdoor gardens here across the Clark County School District. We've implemented our hydroponics program and laboratories at over 300 schools in 31 states. Together, with students, teachers, principals, with sponsors, and with corporations, all of us together in this community have built the largest school garden program in the United States here in the middle of the Mojave Desert. How about that? So why do we do that? What do we use the gardens for? Well, the mission of Green Our Planet really is to teach students science, technology, engineering, math, nutrition, and conservation using the outdoor gardens and the hydroponics labs. We basically train teachers to implement this curriculum, and the students have a lot of fun growing food, learning how to cook food, and then selling the food at farmers markets. So it's making school fun, it's making school engaging, but along the way, we're empowering the next generation of conservationists, scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. But then, in 2020, something very interesting happened that changed our views on what school gardens and hydroponics labs could do. And it happened like this. We got an email from a principal called Bob Pym, and he said, I work at a school 70 miles north of the Arctic Circle in this small village called Viinitai. There's 170 native Athabascan people living here, and we have very little access to fresh food. In fact, he said, when the food is flown in on bush planes, it's really bad quality, and it costs $8 for a head of lettuce. And he said, I've heard about your hydroponics program. Do you think you could get all your hydroponic systems up to the Arctic Circle? Do you think you could teach our students how to grow food? And we thought, well, we'll try. And we did. We got all the hydroponic systems up there. And for the last 2 years, and all during COVID, the 58 students at John Fredersen Elementary grow 670 heads of lettuce, herbs, whatever it is their village want, and then they distribute to all the people in the village. So here we have students being empowered to grow all the food for their community. And then something interesting happened. Another 7 schools, all of them in the Arctic Circle, reached out to us and said, hey, we've heard that the students in Viinitai are growing their own food. Can we do that? So now all of the 7 schools north of the Arctic Circle, they're all growing their food for their own communities. And now, this year, we've piloted a new program. And this program, we brought all the students in Viinitai and all the students north of the Arctic Circle to their schools, and they're teaching their parents how to grow the food. And thanks to a sponsorship from the Engelstad Foundation here in Nevada, we're then giving all the families in the villages hydroponic systems. And they're now bringing them home to their homes, and they're growing all their own food. So, think about that. They're not going to food banks. They're not paying $8 for a head of lettuce. No, they're being empowered to grow their own food. So, what if the 60,000 food banks across the United States were farms? What if when you went to get some food from a food bank, you actually tended to the plants in the hydroponics system, and then you took all this fresh food home? What if every school in America was a farm? What if students were learning science, technology, engineering, math, nutrition, conservation through growing food? So not only are they learning what they need to know for this very complex economic environment, but at the same time, they're growing all the food for their community. All of this is possible. There is no reason that we can't do this. Like I said, we're putting rovers on Mars so we can put hydroponic systems in every school in America. We can put hydroponic systems in every food bank in America. So at the end of the day, I had my dream come true. I became a documentary filmmaker. And so I felt, given that I was given this great opportunity, that it was my turn to try and empower students in my community to be able to thrive and have their great opportunities to grow food for their community. And so I'd like to end, I don't know if you can see this short film, but most recently, here in Las Vegas, actually yesterday, we had a giant student farmers market where over 300 students from across the city sold all the fruits and vegetables from their farmers market. And this is a short video from the farmers market. Thank you.
Fantastic. I bought some radishes. I love this.
We grew all of this in our garden, and we did all of these. We have a lot of cool stuff.
Can you give me back a 10 and you guys can keep the rest? I saw the fava beans. They look absolutely amazing. These kids are doing a great job and super excited to be able to come out and support them. Being in the food world, seeing kids interested in growing their own produce and enjoying what they eat really kind of is uplifting and inspiring to me as a chef.
Would you guys like some hair? We're learning about selling and how to give, how to do money, basically. Or basically marketing. Like some fresh radishes. And advertising. Like fresh radishes. What? You guys have grown? Yeah. They're freshly grown. Guaranteed. We even got a tip for another one. And to think that all of our precious plants from our school are making other people's dinners and making them happier and bringing them food, it's amazing.
What we sold at our booth was we sold hydroponic lettuce and we also sold plants from our garden.
Organic foods for sale, $2 each bag of cilantro, mustard, funnel.
And I learned that the more you work together as a team, the more you can make and the more you can provide from it.
Yes, I did quite enjoy it. It's probably just the accomplishment you feel after growing these things for 6 months and then you finally selling them and people actually enjoying the product that you create.